Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Parlay. It is week 6 of the NFL season. Fantasy football is in the trenches. Your team is looking for a win, not just in fantasy, but in real life. I'm sure most of your benches look like mine, a spilt bowl of Cheerios. Nothing but buys and O's. Without further ado, let me bring in the man, the myth, the legend, the best co-host in the world, even though he calls me the best co-host in the world. Awthentik, live and in the flesh. Welcome,
good,
sir. Welcome, sir. How are you doing today? I'm doing.
I was gonna say I'm a little tired, bro.
I mean, listen, I was riding high, obviously, with, my Washington football team coming out with a victory on Thursday night.
Bit of a barn burner, yeah?
Yeah, oh yeah, man. It's crazy high scoring 12-7 game. But, it was short-lived after we found out that Carson Wentz fractured his finger.
Yeah.
So now we're kind of like, obviously, the Heineke hive is going crazy. Then you got everybody who wants Sam Howell. So it's been a really wild, uneventful victory now because of all the, news behind the quarterback position. And then Notre Dame, basically wet the bed last night and lost to Stanford. Yeah. Notre Dame was a double-digit favorite in that game. So
what's that? Y'all third loss of the year? Fourth loss?
Oh, yeah. Third loss of the year. So thanks for bringing that up. But yeah, so I'm just looking to bounce. I'm looking to bounce back and have a great day of fantasy. I get to watch the Giants play, obviously, and I get to watch the Dallas-Philly game tonight. So there's a lot of
that's a major
Bills
game.
Chiefs. There's a lot of big games today, so I'm super excited about that. And just Washington's defense gave me some points in fantasy, so now I'm just kind of looking to see if we can get some more action here in these Sunday games. And,
is
and
the
I'm excited.
Carson Wentz fractured finger, is that on his throwing hand?
Yes.
So he's going to be out.
Well, they haven't necessarily said he's out yet. There are rumors that he could miss up to 6 weeks. But
he ain't said he's out yet, but rumors he could miss up to 6 weeks. I like that. I think, everything kind of happens for a reason. And if Taylor Heineke does get in there, people will at least get to get a little sample size, small, whatever it is, large portion of the small sample size. But we'll see what it is. I think Carson Wentz was definitely getting a little bit of unwarranted heat from the fan base and whatnot. Twitter was this since Thursday. It's been a little bit outrageous on Twitter. People are just extremely ridiculous.
Listen. It is. I'm sure you saw. I had the one tweet where I was like, man, everybody's complaining about Carson Wentz not throwing the ball, holding the ball for too long. And then people after the game were like, he's getting rid of the ball too fast. He's not letting the play develop. I'm like,
yeah, trust me, I feel your pain. I had somebody try to tell me that the running game is predicated on what the quarterback does.
Oh, I saw the whole
getting crazy.
And I saw the whole Orlovsky thing where people just
the Orlovsky one was crazy too.
It's just, people need to just, it's so easy to be like, pew, 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 send, tweet, send,
Right,
sometimes you got to just, proofread yourself. Imagine if you were reading the tweet before you send the tweet. That might help some of you guys.
And just Twitter should be a very lax place, right? It should be very chill. Shout out to Lax. I don't know if he's in the building, but it should be a very relaxed place, right? Instead, it's this very hostile, tight environment where it's I'm starting to notice that people are latching on to every one of my tweets as if they're takes, I'm Colin Coward or something out here. Don't get it twisted, y'all. I am a rapper and a producer. Don't treat me like I'm Skip Bayless over here and everything I put on Twitter is a take. Sometimes I'm half-hearted, half joking. Sometimes I might be dead serious, but
it's too late.
It is too late.
You've become a man, the myth, the legend. Okay?
The man, the myth, the legend.
But shout out to everybody who's watching. Shout out to those of you who joined, came over and saw me on Ref the District on Friday. Shout out to Lucas. Lucas was in the building. That was an awesome, little segment I got to do with them. I gave away a Santana Moss card, so that was pretty cool. So definitely shout out to everybody who's watching us right now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. It looks like StreamYard has messed up our Twitter stream, so if you guys aren't watching us on Twitter, That's why. But definitely hit the thumbs up if you're here on YouTube. We will be answering all your fantasy questions throughout the stream as best as we possibly can. And then at the end, we'll just run through as many questions as we can before we give you guys some time to set your lineups. But shout out to everybody in chat. Let's give some quick shout outs, and then we're going to get into fantasy football plays for this week. Big shout out to JMO. Sorry, JMO, your Braves did not win. They have been eliminated from the Major League Baseball playoffs, but we appreciate you being here nonetheless, Coach Taylor. Sink Zappa said the Yankees blew it as well. They did. They lost in the bottom of the ninth inning. And listen, as an Orioles fan and a diehard Yankees hater, anybody but the Yankees for me in the postseason.
I didn't know you were. I saw a tweet, and I was like, oh, Beard is a Yankees hater, huh?
Oh, yeah, diehard Yankees hater.
Diehard Yankees hater.
Big shout out to Caitlin Dragon 56. I appreciate the congratulations on the worst dub ever. Hey, a win is a win. A win is a win. Big shout out to Waterfly, says it is wing day. Listen, when Washington plays on Thursday, that means I get to go see Abuela on Sunday. So I'm excited to go get some Abuela cooking and visit with some of the family while I got Red Zone going on. So shout out to Wing Day, as Waterfly would say.
Big facts.
Big shout out to my homie Jimmy from Old School Flips. I don't know if you're back from Vegas. He's been in Vegas for a little last week, I believe. But he wants to know, Daniel Jones versus the Ravens or Aaron Rodgers and his thumb issue versus the New York Jets?
I'm going Aaron Rodgers versus the Jets on this one. We're going to start the show off hot. I think it's going to be a tough day today for the Giants, actually, against the Ravens. A lot of people overlooking that Ravens defense. They were last in passing as far as their defense goes, but they faced some incredible offenses, gone against the Bills already, against the Miami Dolphins in a big shootout. So I'd go with Aaron Rodgers. If he's dressing and he's starting, he's going to be out there slinging it.
I mean, it seems very simple. I also will probably go with Aaron Rodgers, but I will say Daniel Jones is intriguing because of that the running capability of Daniel Jones.
For
so
sure.
Definitely some intrigue there. And big shout out to everybody else in the building. We see you guys, Kai 001, JMO, Gregory, JJ Stangle. Shout out to everybody who's in the building. Mark Okowski's in the building. Diggy's in the building. Duran, Isaiah, Kevin, PRF is in the building, and Marjorie is in the building, dropping Marge bombs. We'll get to one more question before we start going through some of this. And James Funk, Geno Smith or Aaron Rodgers? Shout out to
High
James,
risk,
always holding us down on Facebook.
high reward. That's what that is. If you go with Geno Smith, I like the matchup. It's going to be a high-scoring game. Aaron Rodgers probably the safer bet, but Geno Smith probably going to put up some big numbers. He's been having a good year too.
Yeah, I'm going to say Geno Smith. I'm going to say Geno Smith.
It's the
I'm going
Jets,
to take.
right? Don't forget, it's the Jets.
Who's the Jets? Oh, the Aaron Rodgers is playing against the Jets.
Packers are playing the Jets, man. Don't forget.
Hey, man,
I just want to throw that
Zach,
out there.
Zach Attack is back, Jack.
What, it was like 12 or 16 or something last week. Come on, man.
the Jets are 3-2, man.
The Bears were what? 2-2, 2-3? Do they look like a 2-3 team to you?
No, they look like a.
The Bears didn't look like a better team than the Washington Commanders. It came in with a way better record. Here's the crazy part. The narrative around the Chicago Bears would have been on 3,000 if they beat y'all on Thursday night. The Bears sitting at 3-2. Imagine that. Imagine that.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. C-bands never stay lacking. Henderson, Miles Sanders, James Robinson. Which of the two do I start? I'll go really quick. Cam Akers is that whole situation in LA is kind of crazy right now. Cam Akers will not be playing, and apparently the word on the street is that he has requested a trade. I love Miles Sanders and James Robinson. I will say that Travis Etienne has been increasing in his touches each week. So I'm going to go Henderson and Miles Sanders out of these three.
Yeah, I like those two as well. Miles Sanders got a tough matchup against the Dallas Cowboys defense, but it should be a good game. And I'd see Philly like putting up a lot of points. I talked about that on Thursday. I think Philly's going to win that game by at least 2 scores.
It's going to be a good one. That's going to be a great clip for the internets if that goes down.
Get them scissors ready, brother.
Shout out to the Awthentik and The Beard editing department. And big shout out to No Mets, No Nets, No Jets. My man says ATTB fam. Hello, chat. If not subbed, please sub,
Salute,
like,
man. Appreciate that.
and hit the notification bell. Big shout out to No Mets, No Nets, No Jets. Always showing us nothing
Definitely.
but love. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it's time to give you guys and gals Awthentik and The Beard's top fantasy quarterback plays for this week.
I felt like you was like right here.
All right, Mr. Awthentik, who is going to be your number one rock slangers this week?
Rock slingers. I'm going to go Nino Brown. I'm going to go Big Worm. Nah, I got to go with the biggest smash game. I thought this should have been the Sunday night matchup. Bills-Chiefs. That's going to be a big game. Two, probably the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now outside of the two aging stars we've had around for a long time, and Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. I love this matchup, man. This is an AFC Championship preview, if you ask me, man. I'm going Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, both of them. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. And then third, Giants fans, y'all not going to like this. I might be trying to play a little bit of reverse psychology here, but I'm going with Lamar Jackson, man. Last week, man, Lamar Jackson, he really missed a couple of throws there that really could have increased the output of his statistics. And I just think that they're going to be a little bit more, like, ready and on guard in this game. Giants defense has, I feel, a bit overperformed, outside of the personnel. Wink Martindale has been doing a fantastic job over there, but I think there's going to be a matchup issue here. If you have Xavier McKinney covering Mark Andrews for the most part of this game, it's going to be extremely difficult to contain Lamar Jackson and keep him in the pocket. Our edge rushers have been doing a fairly decent job. Kayvon Thibodeau has been, revving it up a little bit, getting back to normal after the knee injury. But I still think it's just a smash spot for Lamar Jackson after last week having just a very average game for him. So I got Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes.
I'm going to also go Josh Allen. Right now, Josh Allen is playing out of this world. He's on a different planet. He is the only player in the National Football League right now who's averaging at least 30 fantasy points a game.
That's wild. That's wild. He only had one game where it was a dud because he's my quarterback on my fantasy team as well, too. But he only had one game where it was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, he's playing lights out. And he's always a threat to give you just enough rushing yards and possible rushing touchdowns, too, to help you fantasy-wise. And then my number two guy, I'm going to go with one of the old...
Before you go to number two, Josh Allen last week against, that was the Pittsburgh Steelers, right?
Oh, yeah.
Dog, it was something crazy in the first half. It's like 250 yards in the first half or something crazy. Like, the dude was just slinging the rock. Had, like, that 90-yard drive, man. Like, yeah, my man Josh Allen is going crazy this year. And I was one of the people, I just want to admit this again, I was very slow to come around that corner for Josh Allen, right? I was like, he needs a number one wide receiver. Let's see what he does with Diggs. He did it in 1 year. I was still like, let's see if he can prove it back-to-back. Josh Allen is that dude. He's definitely that dude.
Oh, yeah, you guys could listen. That's the best thing about YouTube. You can go back and check the receipts. I was a Josh Allen guy, excuse me, from the draft. He was my number one quarterback prospect. So just throw that one out there. But that's a great segue because thank you for that. Shout out to the sound department at Awthentik and The Beard. I am going to that's a great transition because you know who played Buffalo played Pittsburgh last week. Guess who plays Buffalo this week? Old man Tom Brady is going against Pittsburgh this week. So obviously I'm going to run with some Brady. Pittsburgh has given up the third most yards of any defense to in passing. Obviously that's a good thing for Tom Brady. And they've also given up the fourth most passing touchdowns this season. So I like Tom Brady in this place. And then I'm going to go to this super chat because it's going to lead me into my number three guy. Shout out to Lax for the $4.99 super chat. Says, what's up, fellas? Geno Smith or Joe Burrow? What do you think, Awthentik?
It's the same thing with Aaron Rodgers. Joe Burrow is the safer bet, okay? But Geno Smith, this matchup today against the Cardinals, that it could be a high-scoring affair. Geno Smith has been playing some good football. If you want the high-risk, high-reward, go ahead and take Geno Smith. If you want the higher floor, I'd run with Joe Burrow. If it was me, I'd have to go Joe Burrow. And
I
Joe
mean,
Burrow's kind of
listen.
revving it up. He was,
Yeah.
slowly kind of getting it together. I think that the Jamar Chase, 2 games now back to back without a touchdown, that hurts Joe Burrow's stats. But I'd look for them to kind of get in, a little bit more in sync this week.
I think in season long, it would be easier for me to play Joe Burrow just because of everything that you just said. Now, if we're talking DraftKings or FanDuel, Geno Smith is very cheap considering the stats that he's putting up right now. And Kevin hits it right here. The theme of today is Geno Smith or the field. You're going to get that all day. And Geno Smith is my number 3 top quarterback play of the week. Geno Smith, okay, he's going against Arizona's defense, obviously, who has given up the 12th most passing yards in the National Football League, the 7th most passing touchdowns in the National Football League. Geno Smith is 4th in the NFL in QBR and 1st in the NFL in quarterback rating.
Both those things do nothing for fantasy stats. But,
I'm just, hey,
but
listen,
they look good on paper.
They look good on. It looks really good right here on paper. Okay, so big shout out to Geno Smith. He had a huge game last week. I think this is gonna be a shootout. Good old fashioned pew 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 shootout between Arizona and Seattle. So those are my hey, listen, shout out to the sound effects department at Awthentik and The Beard. So I'm definitely going with, oh man, look at this. Waterfly said wings with mambo sauce. How you know about mambo sauce?
Oh yeah,
Waterfly?
Waterfly hit me up actually and told me he had some mambo sauce ready. I was asking him, I don't be on Instagram much, but I was asking him what brand, if he went with the Capital City, because I know Capital City mambo sauce is making its way around the country.
Yeah, so shout out to Waterfly for knowing about some mambo sauce. So
let me give you another little nugget on Geno Smith real quick too. I wanted to pull up his stats to just look at it game by game. Y'all know that one of my biggest issues with our quarterback is back-to-back games with multiple touchdowns. Geno Smith coming off 3 straight games with multiple touchdowns and over 250 yards.
He's a man on a mission. They try to write him off.
Yeah, but what'd he say?
I ain't write him back.
He didn't write back. He didn't write back.
All right, one more quarterback question before we move on to the next position. James Funk wants to know Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert.
Herbert's going up against Broncos. Burrow going up against the Saints. That's a coin flip for me, but I think I'll go Joe Burrow today.
That's a coin flip, I believe, also. But I think I'm going to go also with Joe Burrow. You can't go wrong either way, I don't think. I do think that Denver Broncos defense is fairly good this year. So I think the matchup for Joe Burrow looks to be a little bit better in this situation.
Yeah, Saints are middle of the pack as far as their pass defense. I was looking it up before we got on. They were like right around 13, I believe.
And then big shout out to E&A. We got time for the $4.99 super chat. Says, what up, fellas? Can't wait for the game today. And great show, as always. We appreciate you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm excited about that game, too. We're playing with house money today. It's okay. We had this 2-game stretch with the Packers and the Ravens. The worst-case scenario would have been 0-2. That would have really, really, really put the knife in my heart. But being that we got that win against the Packers, it's house money right now. If the Giants could come out there and compete today, man, and win this game, wow. I'm going to be talking playoffs.
Yo, giant overreaction. No matter what happens today, tomorrow is going to be lit.
I already got a couple lined up, too. It's definitely going to be a good show. And an honorable mention for the quarterbacks, Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray's going to have a big game today.
I am stacking. I got multiple lineups on DraftKings today that consist of Geno and Kyler Murray. So I like that game to be a shootout. The scary part is it is Seattle versus Arizona. So that game could be Washington, Chicago. But I've got my fingers crossed. I'm hoping for a Buffalo, Kansas City style sort of matchup.
Shout out to Tudo, man. Tudo just dropping comments on the video right now, man. Salute to Tudo, man. That's my guy.
Shout out Tudo. Tudo!
With the foot.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the next position at hand here. And we're going to give you guys our top plays at the running back position. All right, running back position has been fairly, consistent with a home landing for Awthentic's New York Giants and Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is my guy here for fantasy running backs. I mean, the guy is just having a fantastic season. We've talked about it all year long. He's averaging 21.1 fantasy points per game at the running back position. For me, what's one of the most appealing things about Saquon Barkley is his targets have gone up over the weeks. And you guys know I love my fantasy players to be able to do multiple things. I love it when my running backs are catching passes. We already know Saquon Barkley has the capability of catching a screen and going 60 yards for a touchdown. Okay, so you got to always factor that in when you're talking about running backs. So I love Saquon Barkley. I think that if the Giants are smart, they're going to continue with the game plan of feeding Saquon Barkley at least as much as they possibly can. Even when it's not, that's one thing I do love about the New York Giants offense. Even when it's not necessarily clicking, they don't abandon it. Yeah, they keep feeding it until that rhythm gets there, until he breaks one, and then it turns out to be the way that they can possibly win this game is on Saquon Barkley's back. Now, my second guy, Leonard Fournette. I love Leonard Fournette going against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Fournette has been on an absolute tear. We just talked about how Saquon was averaging 21.1 fantasy points per game so far this season. Over the last 3 games, Leonard Fournette has averaged 22.1 fantasy points per game over the last 3 weeks. And over the last 3 weeks, he's averaged at least 5 catches out of the backfield. Not just targets, 5 receptions out of the backfield. That's 5 points right there for your running back, just off of those catches. So I'm high on Leonard Fournette this week going against the Pittsburgh defense, and what he's been able to do. That game might be a blowout, so you might see a lot of running as opposed to what you've seen recently with Tom Brady throwing the ball 77 times a game. Okay, so my number 3 guy, Ramondre Stevenson. Ramondre Stevenson, no Damian Harris.
Just taking my nuggets, man.
No, I mean, listen, I only took 3 out of the 6 piece. Okay, you got 3 more, and I left you a thing of sweet and sour and barbecue. Okay, so you're good to go. You're good to go.
I got.
He's averaging 18. He's averaging 8. I mean, listen, I like to get a good.
Oh, I know you.
He's averaging 18.5 points per game over his last 3 games, and he's going against Cleveland Browns, who are a bottom 5 run defense when it comes to yards and touchdowns. Authentic, who's your 3-piece nugget?
I really just got a 1-piece left here now after that segment you just did. But speaking on the Bucs, man, the Bucs are 31st in rushing right now, so it is impressive that Fournette is still getting off like that as far as fantasy numbers go, because they've been struggling to run the ball at least the first couple weeks of the season. I got Saquon Barkley as well. I mean, Saquon, first in the league in scrimmage yards. He was second in rushing, dropped down to 3rd now with that extra game from Thursday night. And this is why I really like Saquon Barkley in this, because I imagine the Giants are probably going to be playing from behind in this game. And even if we do get the lead in this game, Saquon will still be implemented in the passing attack. So you still got that. Just like the Beard said about having a multiple, skill set. He can do a lot of things. So even if the Giants are winning this game, they're going to rely on Saquon to drain the clock. And even if they're trailing from behind, they got to throw the ball. They're going to be able to throw the ball to Saquon as well. So I really like Saquon. I had Ramondre Stevenson as well for all the same reasons you said. I mean, Damian Harris dealing with that hamstring injury. The Browns defense has allowed the 5th most points to opposing running backs this season. So this is a smash spot for Ramondre Stevenson for sure. That's a 1 o'clock game, so make sure if you're going to dump him in your lineup, make sure you take care of that. And then the odd man out here that you didn't have, I got Austin Eckler versus the Broncos. Even though that Broncos defense is solid, Austin Eckler has 5 touchdowns on the season. He already has 31 receptions through 5 weeks. Last week, 16 rushes for 173 yards. He had 1 touchdown on the ground, and he had a touchdown in the receiving game. 4 receptions on 4 targets, 26 yards. So Austin Eckler, man, quietly, the Chargers, I feel like they don't really make it up to our market that much. We haven't been getting a lot of their games, and under the radar, he's been balling out, man. So I like Austin Eckler, Ramondre Stevenson, and my man Saquon Barkley.
Speaking of Saquon Barkley, big shout out to David for the $4.99 super chat. Says we got a hundo on Saquon going over a hundo 4.5 all-purpose yards LFG. We know what that means. I like that. I love that.
LFG means Go.
Oh yeah, I got that one. I got that one. I'm not that old. Even though I got my, white man can't jump hat on today. I'm not that old, okay? Okay. I like Mixon also, Gregory, by the way. He is one of my starting running backs.
Wait, what was homie's name? I know it was Sidney Dean. What was Woody Harrelson's name in that?
Woody Harrelson's name. Dang,
good trivia,
you got
right?
me. Good trivia.
You like that, right?
We could easily pull off a white man can't jump Halloween costume.
Definitely, I'd have to.
That's the one good thing about Awthentik and the Beard. There's a lot of these, ebony and ivory combinations that we can pull off for Halloween.
Nah, we've done it before.
We've done it before. We did half
Mayweather. Half baked.
We did half baked. We did Mayweather and
Conor McGregor and Mayweather.
McGregor. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think we should pull that off this year. That might be a vibe.
Kai 001. Big shout out to Kai, one of our resident Cowboy fans right here. He says, do I pick up Henderson off the street to start over James Robinson? I absolutely 100% would do that. The fact that you can do that. Yeah, if he's on the streets, man, you better pull up and open up that back door and just jump out, man. Go get him. Go get him. And then shout out to Kai 001 with another ebony and ivory Halloween costume.
Men in Black.
Men in Black.
That is gangster right there. Yo, shout out Kai.
And if you have some more ebony and ivory Halloween costume ideas for Awthentik and the Beard, please drop them in the chat or leave a comment after this video is done being live. All right, let's move on to the next position. Let's talk about our top fantasy wide receivers.
I'm not reading your defenses too well today. It's like when you're finishing the phrase, I'm just cutting you off. I'm just dragging on the words. I'm like, I just don't know when to hit that button.
It's okay. Sometimes I'm like, I like to add a little bit of
it's those pauses. Let's talk about our fantasy quarterback for the week. I'm like, damn.
All right, I'm gonna get a little bit more spicy and less silky, okay?
Yeah, we need a delivery tone for the end. That's what we need. For the week. Okay. Hit him, Awthentik.
All right, who are your top 3 wide receivers for the week?
That's what I'm talking about. I'm Stephon Diggs for the season, okay? I'm going to have Stephon Diggs literally in this top 3 category for the season, okay? Like I talked about, man, AFC Championship preview, smash spot here, I feel like, for Stephon Diggs against the Chiefs. That defense does not scare me, so I definitely like Stephon Diggs. He's got 5 touchdowns on the year. Last week versus Steelers, had 8 receptions for 102 yards and a touchdown. After I talked about him 2 weeks straight not getting a touchdown, he bounced back, got the touchdown last week. I think he's going to get 2 touchdowns in this game. Look for Josh Allen to be targeting him early and often. I also like Jamar Chase against the Saints. I'm just feeling it. 2 straight games for Jamar Chase, no touchdown. Did have the 7 receptions last week. I'd look for him to just, show out against the Saints. It's about time for Jamar Chase to get it revving up like he did last year. Last year, he had some spots where he had some cold games, but he had those major spots where he put up like 189 yards, 2 tubs. So we need to see more of that. I know defenses are playing safeties over the top a little bit more this year on him, but I'm just feeling good about Jamar Chase going against that Saints defense. And then I like Cooper Kupp against the Panthers, man. The Panthers right now, they're kind of middle of the pack as far as their pass defense goes. They're allowing 218 passing yards per game. That's 17th in the NFL. The Rams really don't got nobody else to go to in the passing attack as far as chemistry goes. Matthew Stafford has struggled, man. So just go back to what works. Cooper Kupp should be able to get the targets, the volume, and he should be able to get the productivity. So I like those 3 this week.
Cooper Kupp, listen, he's one of those guys that's just going to be up there all the time. And I love what you pointed out about Carolina's pass defense. Although they got some guys in the back end there in Carolina, but they're, like you said, middle of the pack. And when you got elite like Cooper Kupp going against middle of the pack, that usually tends to fare well. And he is averaging 26.4 fantasy points per game. That's pretty crazy. I like Justin Jefferson this week. He had a monster game last week. A lot of people either like to play players after a monster week or don't, because they think there's going to be some sort of letdown there. And so I like Justin Jefferson in his matchup, though. He's going up against Miami, who's allowed the 10th most passing touchdowns in
Chris
the
Olave
NFL.
inactive.
Yeah, Chris Olave is out. And Miami's also allowed the 5th most passing yards in the NFL this season. So I think the matchup is there for Justin Jefferson to have a good game. Although it's crazy. I didn't realize they were 4-1, and Kirk Cousins has not really put up like crazy numbers. But every once in a while, you see these big games from Justin Jefferson. I think that this is going to be a week that he does do that. And then my last guy is going to be Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans has a monster game against this Pittsburgh defense. The Pittsburgh defense has given up the 3rd most passing yards in the NFL, the 2nd most passing touchdowns in the NFL. So I really, really like Mike Evans in this game. And I will tell you, another one I like to throw out when we talk about wide receivers is the tight end position. Zach Ertz for the Arizona Cardinals is going to be a guy today. Seattle Seahawks are horrible against tight ends. They are allowing opposing tight ends to have 23 fantasy points per game from the tight end position against the Seattle Seahawks defense. So Zach Ertz might be a guy that, if you're filling out some DFS lineups, DraftKings, FanDuel, do what you can to get Zach Ertz in there, because I think he's lined up to have a monster game this week. So big shout out to those guys.
You got T. Higgins, I believe, is inactive today. Oh, no, T. Higgins is active. Mac Jones is out, and so is Damian Harris. That's official now.
And Kyle Pitts is back in the lineup. Let's see if he can do something. Kyle Pitts is just killed.
Bailey Zappi? He's going to make your sleeper section? It's like, no.
No. But listen, the guy played pretty well. He stepped in and played pretty well. I mean, nobody really knew about Zappy beforehand. Big shout out to James Funk checking in from Facebook. Wants to know Dallas Goedert or George Kittle.
I have Kittle on my fantasy team as well, man. He hasn't been doing that well since coming back from the injury. I think
That Dallas matchup is tough.
Yeah, the Dallas matchup is tough. But if anybody's going to eat, Goddard should. I like Goddard. I like Goddard in this one.
I'm going to go Kittle. I think I like Kittle's matchup, and I think this is his breakout game today. Yeah, I think he bounces back from the injury, and we see a nice little game from George Kittle in today's matchup. So up next, we're going to go ahead and give you guys a quick little look at some of the people that, Coach Awthentik is saying, get to the bench. Sit them.
Hit them, Awthentik.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord.
Who's sitting on your bench, Awthentik? Tell them who's on the bench.
All right, let's see who's on the bench. Okay, right off the bat, I got Matt Ryan versus them Jaguars on the bench right now. He's got 5 touchdowns and 10 turnovers in his first 5 games as a Colt. That ain't it. Okay, week 2 against this same opponent, the Jaguars, he was held to 1.8 points. Sit that man down on the bench right now. The Jaguars defense has allowed more than 16 fantasy points to just one quarterback in their first 5 games. I will repeat that for y'all that did not hear it in the back. No quarterback except one has been able to score over 16 fantasy points on them Jaguars one time. So I got Matt Ryan sitting on the bench. And I just got one more. See, this is why I like this sit-sleeper section a little bit separate. I don't got to, force an extra sleeper. I only got 2 people taking naps. Najee Harris versus the Buccaneers. Najee Harris, who was one of the better fantasy running backs last season, is getting off to a pretty terrible start. He's only averaging 10.3 fantasy points per game this year. In the last 2 weeks, he has a combined total of 14 points. Bucs defense has allowed the second fewest points to running backs on the year. So sit Najee Harris and sit him down right next to Matt Ryan.
Well, listen, if you're sitting Matt Ryan, I guess I'm going to have to go ahead and sit Michael Pittman Jr., who I absolutely love as a wide receiver, but he hasn't scored a touchdown since week 1, okay? And Matt Ryan's his quarterback, so it doesn't look good for him.
What happened to Matt Ryan?
Over his last 2 games, he has a combined 8 catches for 90 yards. So it's just not a good look right now for Michael Pittman. I feel bad for the guy because he's a stud wide receiver. I'm also right there with you with benching Najee Harris. He is running back 29 right now in fantasy points. He has only finished in the top 20 as a fantasy running back once, I believe, this entire year. And like you said, Tampa Bay's run defense, they've only given up 3 rushing touchdowns all season. Now, the one that might shock some people, I'm benching Russell Wilson.
Yeah, this one shocked me a little bit.
I'm benching Russell Wilson. I'm literally, this isn't just like for TV. I'm literally playing Trevor Lawrence over Russell Wilson today. I'm just going to wait until things get put together because right now they are all over the place. Russell Wilson only has 1 game this season with multiple touchdowns. He is currently quarterback 17 in fantasy. So I mean, Russell, until Russ starts cooking, because I guess, the gas bill didn't get paid or, the groceries ain't been delivered because Russ has not been cooking. So once, that stove gets fired up, I'll put him back in. But for now, he's on the bench waiting for the groceries to get delivered.
Just getting some notes ready for the email, to the editing department here, because this is going to be a clip that after this week, you're going to definitely eat some crow, Mr. Beard.
We go see. One quick question before we give you guys our sleepers. Gotta give a big shout out to Cheddahead. Says Deontay Johnson or Alec Pierce.
I kind of like this question. I'm going to let you handle this one because I'm having trouble with Deontay Johnson right now as well. A lot of people recommended that I should sit Deontay Johnson because of what's happening with the quarterback over there, that Pickens has been getting more targets. So throw Pickens in there a little bit with this answer, and let me know if you would start Pickens maybe or Deontay Johnson and how you feel about Deontay Johnson.
Well, in this particular situation, I would go Deontay Johnson. Alec Pierce has been a super under the radar type of guy, wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts, but
speedster too.
We've already talked about it. Matt Ryan in this matchup, not doing it for me. And I have the quarterback for Deontay Johnson, possibly in our next segment. So I'm in this situation. I'm gonna go Deontay Johnson. In the world of authentic questions,
yeah,
I like George Pickens. I like George Pickens over Deontay Johnson.
You do? Okay.
I do.
I'm gonna take your advice, man, because I've been like putting one in the lineup, taking the other out, switching it again. I just can't make up my mind on it.
It's so tough sometimes. I completely understand that situation. James Funk, shout out Facebook. Flex 1, Christian Kirk, Jalen Waddle, Everett, or Darrell Henderson? Ooh.
Waddle, is Tua getting the start today?
No.
They cleared him, but he's not getting the start.
Nope.
So that's tough. And Bridgewater's out, right?
I don't know. That's a good question because he was trending to being out, but I thought I heard them say that he cleared. So I'm not 100% sure. I didn't check in on that
because he was dealing with 2 injuries. I know it was either a shoulder and
concussion
elbow,
and something
then
else.
the concussion. Yeah. I think I'd go Darrell Henderson. Carolina Panthers, right? When the Rams are taking on the Panthers. Yeah. I'd go Henderson. And if not Henderson, I'd go Waddle. But Waddle with the quarterback situation, that's tough.
And I don't like Christian Kirk. This is a good problem to have. I like Darrell Henderson just because of the pure volume. He's going to be the guy there. He's going to be catching the ball out the backfield too. And the matchup works well for the Rams. So I like Darrell Henderson. If I had to give you a 2A, the second guy, it'd either be Kirk or Waddle. That's where I would be.
Kirk's coming off 2 bad games. So, he could be due for a bounce back game possibly. But it scares me. He's had 2 really bad games. I think Darrell Henderson is a safe bet. I think Darrell Henderson, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you got to play it safe. COD 001. Adam Thielen or George Pickens?
Thielen.
Pickens. Going Pickens.
Pickens is doing a little bit of damage. He's projected for 10 points today.
Yeah, I like.
Let me throw something in there. In there.
Nugget alert.
Not a nugget alert.
Oh, not a nugget alert.
If you threw Drake London in that mix, Drake London, Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, start 2.
I actually have London on my paper as a possible sleeper. He had a couple of down weeks the last couple of weeks. It feels weird benching Deontay Johnson. It really
It
does.
does. Yeah,
But
and it can't start two from the same team. So if
I'm going Pickens in London. I'm living a little.
okay, all right, Hunter Renfro's on a bye.
Yeah.
I'm just looking if I got anybody. I could do Mecole Hardman.
At that point, you're throwing darts, bro.
Yeah. All right.
And James Funk has confirmed that the third stringer, you know it's bad when you don't even got a name. You just
The third stringer.
Isn't his name like Skylar Thompson or something like that?
Yeah, we can go with that.
Okay. We're going to go with that. Skylar Thompson.
Because I really, just like you said, when you go by the third stringer, yeah, I really
You
don't know.
just
Who the
don't
third stringer
know.
is over there.
And big shout out to Marjorie, always dropping Marge bombs. Definitely just look through the chat. You'll see Marge. She'll be dropping some inactives and actives for everybody in the chat. So big shout out to Marjorie. We appreciate you as always. All right, let's move on to the next segment, which is going to be Awthentik and The Beard's Sleepers. Hit 'em!
Hit me.
There's one artist that no matter when I hear their songs, I automatically feel like I can dance.
James
I
Brown.
don't know, James Brown. Like I hear
Most
James
definitely.
Brown and it's like nothing takes a hold of my body like James Brown does. Like I hear James Brown, maybe some go-go because I hear go-go and I feel like I could, I'm in my pocket as we,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But like James Brown, I hear James Brown, I'm just like my hips get a little younger,
Oh, yeah.
my knees
Timeless
get a
music,
little
man.
bit younger. You know what I'm saying? Like I
My
feel like
knees get a little
I
bit
feel like
younger.
I'm 20 something and I'm just like this, nasty with it. So after that, I'm gonna give you guys some
Yo, this
sleepers.
man,
Okay.
He was looking at all y'all women across the country. He said, nasty with it.
Yes, there you go, Con 001. Tell him Beard be on the good foot.
He do be on that good foot.
Yeah, because they both.
Nasty with it.
So now I'm gonna give you. If you're picking a sleeper dancer, the Beard is probably the number one sleeper for the dancing rankings. Okay, but if we're talking fantasy football, I'm gonna give you guys.
That man said nasty with it.
James Funk said, "Wow, Beard needs some of that ball bomb."
Hey, dog.
Shout out, Manscaped.
Hey, yo. That was crazy.
That might be a good clip for the TikToks.
Yo, that was crazy.
Big shout out to the sleeper section of fantasy football this week. I'm going with Kenny Pickett. Okay, we talked a little bit about George Pickens. I like Kenny Pickett. I have a nice little sleeper lineup on DraftKings where I'm starting Kenny Pickett. I'm going to give you guys a slew of running backs. Okay, Eno Benjamin. I know I've talked about him a couple of times over the years. Running back out of Arizona State. No James Conner, no Damian Williams. Eno Benjamin is the guy in what can be a very high-scoring game. So I really, really, really like Eno Benjamin. I like Deion Jackson. Now this is a real
super sleeper.
deep sleeper, okay? Because he's playing on a team that we have been spent nothing but time trashing this morning. That's the Indianapolis Colts. So Deion Jackson is your running back besides Phillip Lindsay in Indianapolis. No Jonathan Taylor, no Naheem Hines. So Deion Jackson looks to get a lot of touches in that game if there's any offensive snaps for the Indianapolis Colts. And then last but certainly not least, Kenneth Walker III. Been a guy everybody's been talking about in Seattle since they drafted him. I watched a lot of him at Michigan State. He is the absolute truth. He is a dog. Look for him to step in for my guy. Sorry, Penny. He's out for the year, unfortunately. Yeah. But he went out with a bang, a couple of big games. So shout out to Rashad Penny. And then wide receivers, Tyler Lockett. Hasn't really been talked about a lot this year. He's coming off of some good performances. I expect him to have some big moments in that Arizona game. And then shout out to Giants Nation, Big Blue in the building. Darius Slayton.
Darius Slayton, okay. I like
those
that.
are my sleepers.
I like that you brought up Kenneth Walker too, and that's going to segue me into this New York Giants thing with Darius Slayton, right? It seems like for a sleeper, especially a guy who's like under the radar or unknown, by the time you go try to acquire him, he will already be scooped up because a lot of these fantasy leagues are dishing out messages to people who are available running backs that might be on the up and up. Kenneth Walker was one of those. I'm going to put Wan'Dale Robinson in my sleeper section here because you need to go get him now. It might not pan out for you this week, but I'm just saying this right now so you could go scoop him, put him on your bench if you're flexible to do that, if you don't need somebody in the lineup immediately. By next week, maybe the week after that, if Wan'Dale Robinson can stay healthy, he's probably going to be the number one person getting targets in New York. So I think he's an incredible sleeper. Might be able to do it this week, but I'm not banking on it this week. I also like Tyler Lockett versus the Cardinals. Geno Smith goes to quarterback over there. Everybody thinks that wide receiver core is supposed to fall off. Tyler Lockett has been going off, man. He scored 16-plus points in 4 straight games, including 27.4 points in last week's loss to the Saints against the Cardinals. In their last 4 meetings, Tyler Lockett puts up an average of 29.3. So I really like him against this Cardinals team. This is going to be a high-scoring game is what everybody is, panning this one out to be. So I really like Tyler Lockett. And then I like Melvin Gordon, revenge game against the Chargers. He's seen last week he saw about 37% of the share from the touches from the backfield. The Seahawks have allowed 8 touchdowns to running backs on the year already, and they've allowed the most points to running backs after 5 weeks. They're dead last right now, and they're allowing 32 points per game to the running back position. So I love Melvin Gordon in this spot. I got him in my lineup. I'm hoping he just completely goes off in his game because he's been pretty average this year, sitting around that 12 mark for me for the most part. But I'm hoping he can go off this week. And, those are my sleepers this week. I think Wan'Dale Robinson is the key one. Like, if he's available in any league that you're in right now and you got space on your bench right now, go scoop him up immediately.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The position is there for him. As far as the depth chart and the injuries and things of that nature. So I think that's a smart move. And like you said, it's important to kind of get these guys before they're the guys. It's super difficult in fantasy, especially in season long to do that. But definitely some great points right there on Wan'Dale Robinson. And it'll be interesting to see what his snap count looks like in today's matchup for sure.
Yeah, that coming off that knee injury. One thing I will say about this coaching staff, they definitely seem like they don't rush players back. Leonard Williams, they slow played it. Leonard Williams was saying he was pretty ready last week. They wanted to make sure, everything was okay with him. And you're seeing it with Kadarius Toney. I mean, they're not trying to rush him back on the field. They're trying to make sure he's completely healthy. I know a lot of people are bunch of speculation about Kadarius Toney, but I love that about the Giants right now with Brian Dable and the rest of this staff, man. They're just like, if you get hurt, they want to make sure you're ready, get back in the lineup and be effective.
Absolutely. And big shout out to James Funk, who, if you guys missed it, said, shout out for the ball bomb.
The ball bomb.
The ball bomb. Shout out for the ball bomb. So let's go ahead and let you guys know about that ball bomb.
Shout out to Manscaped, sponsoring this episode. Gave me the soft T, according to the beard. Support for Awthentik and The Beard is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels.
Bars.
Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code AATB at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping worldwide at manscaped.com and use the code AATB. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Let me let you know something here, Beard. You know what I be thinking about when I read that Manscaped read? When I get too old and reading that gets difficult. I be seeing some of you jokers on your channels here. Y'all be struggling. Super chats coming in. Y'all be all of that. I don't want to get to that point. Right now, I got a smooth read. Maybe in 10 years, that read's not going to be as smooth. I'm a little bit worried about that, I must admit.
Big shout out to David. When the beard says ball bomb, it sounds like the same word. He's a rapper, but he's not a rapper, you dig?
Oh, he's a rapper, all right. David Spotting, he knows. He can sense the bars, the undertone of the bars from the beard one time.
Big shout out to Andrew S. Quick question: AJ Dillon, James Robinson, or my man Deion Jackson, full PPR?
Ooh. I'm gonna go with the beard sleeper on this one.
You're gonna go Deion Jackson?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with AJ Dillon. I like Deion Jackson, but the more and more we've bashed the Colts today is making me like don't think anybody playing.
I feel you on that. And the Packers might be up heavy on them Jets and might have to run the clock out. Now, they're going to use Dillon more than they probably used Jones over there to run the clock out. So that does make sense.
I absolutely concur. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the show where hopefully the sound effects department has replaced the Beard's pew-pews with a different sound for rapid fire. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this moment in the show, we are going to run through each and every single game, give you our picks for the winner, the overs, the unders, and the spread. And we're going to start things off right, ladies and gentlemen. There's no waiting. We're going to go right into it. It is the Baltimore Ravens, who are 3-2. They are 5.5-point favorites. They are headed up to New York, to face the Giants, who are 4-1. The over-under in this game is 46. Kickoff is at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Authentic, tell me what you got.
I was trying to decipher whether that was Sinatra or if that was Alicia Keys and Jay-Z. I couldn't really tell. The register was somewhere in between. We talked about this game on Thursday in depth. I think the Giants are going to be able to hang close for about 3 quarters, and I think the Ravens are going to pull away. Hopefully they can shock me, surprise me, man, and come away with another victory, because at 5-1, we definitely going to be talking about playoffs. Y'all know what it is. And, I just think Lamar Jackson's going to have a bounce-back game today, man. I just think it's going to be too tough for the Giants to contain Lamar Jackson with Mark Andrews. I just think that this matchup presents a lot of problems for the Giants' defense. And then you can't forget about Duvernay, man. He's been doing a lot with the rushing attack and in the passing game. I think the Ravens are going to be a little bit too much. It reminds me of the matchup when we played the Ravens, I believe that was 2 years ago in 2020, man. Like, we were riding high off of a victory, I believe, from like Colt McCoy or something like that against the Seahawks. And the Ravens came to town. We kind of thought we had a little bit of a chance there, and the Ravens blew the socks off us. So I think it's not going to be a blowout in this one, but I do think the Ravens are going to be able to take this one. So 46, I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under 46. And I think the Ravens cover the 5.5.
I think New York finds a way. They find a way to make this game close. I don't know if they necessarily find a way to win. So I'm going to take the New York Giants plus 5.5, and I'm also going to take the under 46. I think both of these defenses are better than what most people are giving them credit for.
I'm glad you said that. I'm going
to take the under 46, and I'm going to take New York Giants plus 5.5. Going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
Up next is the Jacksonville Jaguars versus you probably shouldn't be playing football according to Authentic and Beard, Indianapolis Colts. The Jaguars are 2-3. The Colts are 2-1. The Colts are actually favored in this game by a 1.5 point. The over-under is 41. I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars to win this game outright. Shout out to Trevor Lawrence, my new quarterback, since Russell Wilson is on the bench not cooking. I'm going to take Jacksonville to win this game, and I'm going to take the under 41.
All right, guys, I know the Colts are favored in this game, but this is the upset alert of the week. The Colts are going to win this game, even though they're favored. I think it's an upset. The Colts look like garbage so far this year. I'm going to take the Colts in this one, man, to bounce back. I just don't got faith in them Jaguars like the Beard has. I just don't got faith in them. I'm going to take the over 41 in this one as well.
Going to be an interesting one. Up next, how about Zappy and the New England Patriots?
Hey, this beat right here is cranking for the rapid fire. I'm feeling juiced up right now. I'm ready to go.
I feel like James Brown,
Hit me.
The New England
Patriots. What did you say that had me cracking up a second ago?
Feel nasty.
Oh yeah, the nasty. What was the line? What was the bar?
I don't remember.
Getting nasty. That man looked right in the camera and said, "Getting nasty."
This game could get nasty. We're gonna have New England's 2-3. They're headed to Cleveland, who is 2-3. The Browns are favored by 2.5. Over under is 43 in this game. This is tough. I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns to cover the 2.5. I'll take the under 43. I'm feeling like it's under.
Yeah,
There's
I'm
a lot
with
of
you on that. I'm
unders.
taking the under as well, man. We got about, 6 more weeks before Deshaun Watson will make his debut, but Jacoby Brissett been holding it down, man. Shout out to Jacoby Brissett, man, playing some decent football. And he's just a good guy, man. He's just a good guy. I'm going with the Browns. I think the Browns are going to cover this. Patriots have been a little up and down, especially defensively. I got them on my fantasy team, their defense, and some weeks it's fantastic, some weeks it's just god-awful. I think that they're going to struggle against the run in this one, man. Nick Chubb, probably be a little bit too much. I got the Browns to cover. I'm going to take the under.
Shout out to Stan, who's already apparently clipping and putting stuff on Twitter. I haven't seen it yet, but we'll see after we're done here. Up next, the Cincinnati Bengals are 2-3. They're 3-point favorites. They're heading down to Bourbon Street to face the New Orleans Saints, who are 2-3. The over-under in this game is 43. Andy Dalton will be starting for the New Orleans Saints against his former team, the Cincinnati Bengals. I think this is a big game for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon. I like the Bengals. I like the Bengals to cover, and I'm going to definitely take the over 43 on this one.
I'm right there with you, man. Bengals taking the over. They'll cover that 3, man. Bengals are on the up and up now, I think. I think they kind of like getting stride in here. That offensive line's got to figure out a way to start gelling and keep Joe Burrow upright. They'll win a lot of games this year. So I'm taking the Bengals in this one against the Saints, especially because Andy Dalton is playing quarterback in this matchup. I think Jameis Winston gives the Saints a much better advantage, man.
Absolutely. And I'm going to imagine, I think he'll probably be back next week. And hopefully we can see some Alvin Kamara. He's been super quiet. I mean, I feel like all of the top fantasy draft pick running backs have just been a
little sketchy.
I mean, Christian McCaffrey might get traded. That's going to be crazy. That's going to be crazy.
Christian McCaffrey has been a bit of a letdown, but he's still doing a little bit of damage there. Just a little bit.
Yeah. So up next, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are 3-2. They are 9.5-point favorites. They're headed to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers, who are just 1-4. 1-4 Pittsburgh Steelers. The over-under in this game is 46 points. I'm going to go Tampa Bay to cover the 9.5, and I'm going to take the over 46. I think you get some late fourth quarter points from Pittsburgh.
The Steelers have never had a losing season under Mike Tomlin, right?
Nope, not one.
Dang, 1-4. That's you just dug a major hole, man. I'm gonna take the Bucs in this one, but I'm gonna take the Steelers to cover the 9.5, man. Desperation mode right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm hoping my man Pickens can have a big game, man. So we'll see what happens here. I'm gonna take the Steelers to cover, but I'll take the Bucs, and I'm gonna take the over.
Interesting. This next matchup, the San Francisco 49ers, they're headed down to Hotlanta to face the Falcons. The 49ers are 3-2, I believe, and they are 4.5-point favorites. The Falcons are 2-3. The over-under in this game is 45. Authentic, tell me what you got.
This is one of the harder spots of the week, man. Like, this is a toss-up right here. The Falcons have been playing pretty decent on offense, man. Marcus Mariota doing his thing out there, man. I need Drake London to show up in this matchup. Man, if the 49ers can win this one, I think it's going to be on coaching. I'm going to take the Falcons outright, man. I'm going to take the Falcons outright to win this game. I just got a feeling, man. They're at home. I like what I'm seeing from that offense. It's going to be a tough one today against the 49ers defense because the 49ers defense is definitely stout, but I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons, man.
Falcons are playing feisty. I will say that. They're like the feisty Falcons. I'm going to take the Falcons to cover the 4.5. I don't know if I could pick them outright. The over-under 45. Falcons defense is pretty bad. And if the Falcons are going to cover, that means they're going to have to score points too. I'm going to take the over 45. Why the heck not? Let's see what happens. Up next, the New York Zack Attack is back. Jack Jets, who are 3-2. They're headed to
I like how you took over the graphics for one game. I was like waiting on
The Green Bay Packers are 7.5-point favorites. The over-under is 45.5. Kickoff is at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, 45.5. Zack Attack is back, Jack. They're putting up points. Facts.
Come on, cuz.
What you got, Authentic?
You sound like a backpack rapper from Minneapolis right now.
This is said from Green Bay.
I'm gonna take the Packers in this one. I think the Packers will cover the 7.5, but I'm gonna take the under. I think that the Packers defense was supposed to come in this year being much improved, and they've definitely let us down so far. I think coming off that loss in London last week, man, I think the Packers come out a little bit rejuvenated here. I'm gonna take the under because I think they're gonna limit the Jets, and I'm gonna take the Packers to cover that 7.5.
Listen, I got to ride with this Jets heat wave I've been on. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers to win, but the Jets to cover the 7.5, and I'm also going to take the under 45.5. This might be a sloppy game. A lot of running between both these teams have two really good young running backs, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, Bryce Hall, and Michael Carter Jr. So this should be an interesting matchup. I think this will be a better game than most people think. Speaking of Minneapolis, up next, the Minnesota Vikings are 4-1. That really boggled my mind when I was putting these tickers. It does. I swore they lost 3 games. They're 3-point favorites. They're headed down to South Beach to face the Miami Dolphins and the third-string quarterback, whose name we still have not completely figured out. Skylar Thompson.
We got. Is that his name? I was going to say.
I think it's Skylar Thompson. The Dolphins are 3-2. The over-under in this game is 45.5. Kickoff is at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And while Authentic looks up the quarterback's name, I'm going to tell you I like Skylar Thompson. Okay, yeah. I was doing my homework. Minnesota, I guess I'm going to take Minnesota to win this game and cover the 3 points. I'm going to take the under 45.5.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Vikings and the Vikings covering. Trying to think if I'm gonna take that over or the under.
David said, "I'm not taking any quarterback named Skylar to win."
I'm gonna take the under in this one. Yeah, it's gonna be tough, man. Dolphins might come out and surprise. We'll see. They definitely have the weaponry on offense to put up a lot of points and hang in this game. Vikings only lost to the Eagles. Looking pretty good right now.
Who did they beat though? Chicago, probably,
probably
the Steelers,
probably.
I bet you
they beat
some bum.
The Bears for sure. They beat the Saints. They beat the Lions, and they beat the Packers.
That was the first game of the season. That's the only team that they've beat that has a winning record. Every one of those other teams has a losing record. So.
Who was that?
The Vikings.
The Packers?
Yeah, Packers are the only team they beat with the winning record. Yeah, and they're 3-2. They just lost to the New York Giants. So we will see what happens in that game. Let's move into the 4:00 section. The Carolina no more Matt Rule Panthers about to trade McCaffrey. They're headed to L.A. Maybe a nice little landing spot for Mr. McCaffrey. They will face the Rams, who are 2-3. The Rams are a whopping 10-point favorite. The over/under in this game is 41.5. I don't think who's starting quarterback for Carolina Panthers. I think it's P.J. Walker.
Yeah,
I like Walker. So. Walker's a good guy.
He's a good guy. He's a Jacoby Brissett. He's a nice guy.
I mean, he's a little bit more mobile than Jacoby Brissett.
I meant just the person.
Just the person.
Not the play. They're both not that great of quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Los Angeles Rams, I think, in this one. And I'm gonna take them to cover that 10 points. They need a big game in LA.
They do, man. I don't think
I'm gonna
they
take
cover
the
that
under.
10,
I'm gonna take the under 41.5. I just noticed how detailed that Panther looks. Shout out to the graphics department, man.
It's an interesting logo. I will say, I don't know. It's the shape is a little strange. Like, why did they include so much of the shoulder area? I don't know. It's a little strange. And the Rams logo is kind of garbage as well.
Do you want more paw action from the Panther?
Nah. I don't think you need more paw action, but just get rid of the whole shoulders and the whole
just the head.
Yeah, just the Panther face, man. Like that would work out. And the Rams should go back to the old logo, the more navy blue and white one that had the ram. It was more like circular. Not a big fan of this logo. This logo looks like a logo out of like Madden when they generate, a generic team for you or something. The Renegades.
I was gonna say it looks like one of those those logos that are like pre-made templates in like Microsoft Word in the like late 90s.
Yeah, it's got that. You know what it has a vibe of too? That old New York Giants logo that was in the 70s for like just a year that had the strange NY that was kind of leaning. Kind of reminds me of that too. But I'm gonna take the Panthers to win the game. But
what?
I mean, I'm sorry. I didn't say that. He said what? I'm gonna take the Rams to win the game, but I'm gonna take the Panthers to cover the 10. Man, 10 is ridiculous, bro. This is the NFL, man. Any given Sunday, man. I don't care what's going on with the coaching staff over there. I'm gonna take the Panthers to at least cover that 10. So, and over/under wise, I'll take the over.
I was like, man, that is the most nonchalant like underdog pick ever.
It's like picking the $86 to get a win or something. I was like, I'm gonna take the Panthers to win the game.
Oh man! Up next, the game I am most attached to fantasy-wise this weekend. The Arizona Cardinals are 2-3. They're 2.5-point favorites. They're headed to face the most underrated quarterback thus far this year, Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks, who are also 2-3. The over/under in this game is 50.5. Authentic. Tell me what you got.
Looking like a barn burner. This is tough, man. Geno Smith and the Seahawks have been playing really good as of late, but the record ain't really showing for it as well as they're playing. I think Kyler Murray going to be a little too much for them, man. I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals in this one. I think they cover the 2.5, and I'll take 50 is just too much. I'm going to take the under.
Okay, I'm going to take the over because I have put money in this game being a shootout. So I'm going to take the over in hopes that this is a crazy game. I'm going to take Seattle to I'm going to take Arizona to win, Seattle to cover the 2.5. How do you like that? I'll take Seattle plus 2.5 just in case they win. Otherwise, I think Arizona kicks a field goal to win by 1 point at the end of this game. So it's going to be a fun game.
They lost last week on a field goal to tie the game to go to overtime. Ended up bricking it with Matt Amendola. I don't know if he's still out there because they had injuries to.
Yeah, I think they got their kicker back.
Matt Prater,
I hope they got their kicker back. If they didn't, then my Miss Cleo might not come to life. Up next is the game I think everybody really is excited about. That's going to be the Buffalo Bills, who are 4-1. They're 2.5-point favorites. They're headed to Kansas City, who is also 4-1. The over/under in this game is a whopping 54. Kickoff is at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be short and sweet. Give me the Buffalo Bills. Give me the Buffalo Bills minus 2.5 and give me the over 54. Have fun.
I think this is the first time that Patrick Mahomes is not favored at home.
That's a nugget.
I'm going Chiefs, man. Bills have tried a bunch of times to knock the Chiefs off. Been pretty unsuccessful for the most part, especially when we're talking in the playoffs. 2.5 for the Bills. I'm going Chiefs outright, man. And 54, man, I hope we get the over because I got Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen on my squad. That stack needs to put up some points today for me to get a win. So I'll take the over just in hopes. I'm betting with my wallet, as the Beard would say.
Okay, quick question. One word answer. Who's the better 4-1 team, Buffalo or Kansas City?
Buffalo. I mean, offensively, bro, I know you wanted one word. It's got to be Buffalo because Josh Allen, bro, he's just going crazy, man. 2 games where he has over 400 yards and more than 2 touchdowns in those games. He had 4 touchdowns in one of those games. Dude is just, they've been putting him on the bench a lot too. So imagine if they weren't blowing some of these teams out. I think that he was put on the bench against the Steelers, I believe it was. And then there was another blowout there where he, in the fourth quarter, he was just chilling as well too. So for me, I think that the Bills had a better team. The Chiefs probably have the more, I don't want to say better. That's not the word I want to use. That's not the word I want to use either.
That's why I told you just one word.
The Chiefs got the hotter quarterback, I think. There you go.
It's an interesting. I'm super excited to watch this game. This one might just be the game on Well,
Oh, yeah, I'm keeping this game on. I'm going to have Red Zone up, but I'm going to have this game on for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then let's go into Sunday Night Football. NFC East matchup. The Dallas Cowboys, they're 4-1. They're headed to Philadelphia, who's 5-0. The Philadelphia Eagles are a 6.5-point favorite. The over-under is 42. Kickoff is at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Authentic, tell me what you got.
Well, the Beard, I'll tell you what I got over here. I got some Philadelphia Eagles getting some victories here. I picked them on Thursday to win that game by multiple scores here. They got 6.5 here. I'm going to take the Eagles to cover that 6.5, and I'm going to take them to get this victory. As far as the over-under goes at 42, I think we're going to get there, my man.
Listen, Authentic has already called a double. Was it a double digit or a 2 touchdown or 2 score? I can't remember what it was. 2 score.
2 score.
So that could be 10 points. That could be 5 points because it's 6 points. At least 10. Okay. All right. I'm going to take the
at least 9. I guess we can say at least 9.
All right. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game also, but I think Dallas covers. I think this is a really close game, and I'm going to take the under 42 points. I think that both these defenses play pretty well. Marge Baum, Leonard Williams, and Wan'Dale Robinson are officially active. Kenny Galladay, Kadarius Toney, they're out. Aziz, that one hurts. Aziz is out as
that hurts.
well.
Justin Pennick? No, I'm just playing. And Cordell Flott's out as well. Cordell Flott, man, God, these injuries, boy. Giants, man, it's just unfortunate, man. Thank God for Dable.
Thank God. I mean, listen, I think a lot of us wish they had that coach in our corner right now.
Most
definitely. To round out the rapid fire section, it's going to be the uncooked Denver Broncos. Uncooked
Starving
Denver Broncos. Starving Denver Broncos, who are 2-3. They are headed to L.A. to face the Chargers, who are 3-2. The Chargers are 4.5-point favorites. The over-under is surprising 45.5.
Yeah, you're going to put some respect on Russ's name.
I'm going to take the Chargers. I'm going to take the Chargers minus the 4.5, and I'm going to take the under 45.5.
I'm taking the Broncos, man. Russell Wilson about to cook. Melvin Gordon is not going to fumble. Over under 40 what? 5.5?
45.5?
Yeah, we're going to get there, man.
Whoa, we're going to get there.
Yeah, we're going to get there because I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Russell's going to have to keep up with what the Chargers do on offense. The Chargers putting up at least 20. He's going to have to keep up with them. So to win this game, he's going to have to, buy a good 27-20 maybe, something like that.
Over, under, and I'm going to give you a chance to take a push here. Over, under, or push. Shout out to Giant Overreaction live every Monday here at Authentic and The Beard. Over, under, or push Russell Wilson 2 touchdowns.
I'll go with the push.
That's why I gave it to you.
Thank you.
I was wondering if he's gonna get to 2 or not.
Because 3's kind of that's a little. My guy hasn't put up multiple touchdowns all year, right? Is that what you said?
One game.
One game. So yeah, that's tough. Can't go. In the one game, it was 2. It wasn't 3. So.
Maybe, I mean, the way you've been talking, like he's going to throw 3 touchdowns in this game.
I'm just saying, people try and treat Russell Wilson like he's, what's Quincy Carter or something out here. Come on. You like that?
That was like the tweet you put up earlier, how like we could just sit around and talk about old football names and have fun.
It's crazy you bring that up because I was going to say something about that. So Tap Jackson, who he's a homie in Giants Twitter, man, we put up the exact same random player. And when I tell you I thought of a random player, it was a random player. Wide receiver Stephen Baker from the late 80s, early 90s for the New York Giants. And he literally picked the same player. Then somebody else that's from Giants Twitter chimed in, the homie Coriega, and said, Stephen Baker's my homie. Like, we hang out. That's my guy.
That's
I said,
crazy.
tell him I used to try to emulate Stephen Baker back in the day. He was one of the first Giants players that I was just like, man, like Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker, dog, he was like 5'8", 165 or something like that, but he was frying back in the day. Him and Lionel Manuel. These are wide receivers you youngins ain't got no idea about.
None whatsoever. None.
OG status.
I do want to give a couple of big shout outs that came across the line while we were going through our rapid fire. Big shout out to Sebastian. for the $1.99 super chat. Says, salute AATB. For those of you that don't know, AATB is Awthentik and The Beard. Keep raising that bar. You too. Fire, Flame, and Fuego one chip challenge. Shout out to Sebastian.
One chip challenge.
Man, I spend at least 10 minutes a day watching one chip challenge videos. It makes me feel better about my life.
Yeah,
there was one point I was trying to get Awthentik, convince him to do one on air.
Nah, bro. That's why I'm not doing these play-by-plays like that either. Y'all gonna be clipping up these clips of me losing my mind. Nah, cuz. Nah. Tainer had a good one last week. He when we sealed the game, people have been chopping this one up, using it around the internet. It is a fantastic reaction. It's a legendary, just extremely hype. I just
wanted to be able to do the voice like this, and with
Tim from Online Big Blue be doing that. Joe be cracking me up.
I saw this. I saw this TikTok video where the guy, I guess he was like a play-by-play announcer for like a women's college soccer team. And he was like, my friends gave me a list of like 14 words that I had to incorporate into my play-by-play. And so like he shows the 14 words on the screen in the TikTok and then the clips of each time he used each word and then checks it off. Absolutely hysterical. Some of it, and like his co-host has no idea. So like the whole time he's just like dropping these weird phrases when he's like doing like a play-by-play, and it's absolutely classic.
We got to do that maybe. Get some 10-word suggestions from the chat one time that we have to use during the show.
I like that a lot. We're gonna do that.
Halloween
big shout out.
Words.
Yeah. Big shout out to the chat. Big shout out to the chat. Especially my man Lax 044 for the $4.99 super chat says Romeo Dobbs or Isaiah McKenzie.
McKenzie coming back off that injury. I like Dobbs against the Jets. Man. It's the Jets, man. I know they're 3-2, but it's the Jets.
I mean, Zach Attack is back, Jack. I also like Romeo Dobbs. I'm a big McKenzie guy. But I more so in like fantasy on like the DraftKings FanDuel where you need like to get some cheap guys in your lineup that could give you a touchdown. Isaiah McKenzie's one of those. But season long, I'm going to go with Romeo Dobbs. And shout out to everybody popping in the chat. I see Philly Flipper in here. I see Glock in the building. I see New York BS MM5 says, my guys. I see Waterfly talking about Mambo sauce. I see RTDB in the building dropping acronyms. I see Paulie in the building and Mr. Mini Guy in the building. All right.
Let's pray to God these New York Giants can get a victory today and shut me up, man. That'll be amazing to move to 5-1. Congratulations on your win on Thursday. You guys really needed that, man. Feeling real bad for the Chicago Bears and Justin Fields. Man, it's going to be a good this is the transition in fantasy, man. You better start getting some wins right now, man, if you're sitting around 500 or beneath, man. It's time to get these W's, man.
Listen, in one of my leagues, I literally sent a trade proposal to every single team in the league, and not one of them accepted my trade.
Nobody bid. Hey, like,
not one
that.
person. Scotty Booms was like aggravated after like my third like try to rebuttal counter offer after he declined my initial offer, that he sent me like an absolutely insane trade request, and I messaged him on personally. I said, Booms, I said, what is this, man? This is never gonna work. He's like, oh my God, that's you sending me these trade requests.
He didn't even know it was you.
He was like, there's no way. So yeah, I'm hurting at the running back position. So we'll see how things evolve here. This is, like Awthentik said, this is a turning point. I got a couple of really good teams. I got a couple of okay teams, and I got a really bad team. So I'm looking to make some separation and gain some grounds here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We appreciate you guys. Everybody who watched this on Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter came on late at the end. Big shout out to Simon for the $5 super chat. Says every time Pat McAfee bets against the Giants this year, they've won. The one time he bet on them to win, they lost. He bet on them to win this week.
Man, Stephen A. too. Stephen A. picked us to win as well, and that's definitely sketchy. I think we missed one from Nick DeWick way back. I don't know if you got the did we get this one right here?
No, we did not. Big shout out to Nick the Wick for the $4.99 super chat. Says thoughts on this trade I made. 10-man PPR. He traded Kittle, Dobbins, I'm assuming Miles Sanders, Eno, Benjamin, Raheem Mostert. Damn, dude, trade the whole roster for Devonta Smith and Travis Kelce? I don't like it one bit, Nick. I love you, but I don't like that trade.
I don't know though. Because look, if you look at this roster that he traded away, right? It's really Kittle, Dobbins, and Miles Sanders. So he lost at running back. Bad. Benjamin and Raheem Mostert, those guys are,
Yeah, bench players.
Yeah, you can supplement for them. Devontae Smith is on the up, and Travis Kelce is one of the best tight ends in the game. You must have some running backs, though, on your bench.
Yeah, you got to have some running backs on the bench. I guess it's not that bad. Maybe I'm just reacting to the massive dump off.
That's why.
Yeah. That's
it's
a
tough.
wild trade.
It's risky as hell. It's definitely risky as hell. If I had to grade it, I'd grade it like C+.
But Devontae Smith, like you said, we've talked about that a lot already, how his production just keeps going up. And Travis Kelce had 4 touchdowns last weekend, so yeah.
Yeah, he went Al Bundy. He went crazy. Why would you trade Travis Kelce after he goes Al Bundy, though? I would never do that.
Maybe the other person just really went is hurting at other positions, like the running back position.
Yeah, that might be
you get Kittle in return, so it's not like that crazy of a down drop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like it. I kind of like to trade for both parties. Actually, it's not too terrible.
Yeah.
But shout out Nick the Wick, man. That's my guy. I was rapping with him on Twitter just a couple days ago, man. It's my dude, man. Salute to you, fam. And salute to everybody in the chat, man. Salute to the fan, man. It's approaching 12:30 here, man. Make sure to get your lineup set. Any last words, Beard, before we get up out of here?
Nah, good luck to Giants Nation on today's game. I know a lot of you guys were out there showing me love on Thursday night, so I just want to let you guys know I'm sending it right back to you. It's a big game. If they win that game, it's going to be crazy. Nonetheless, make sure you guys tune in Monday for a giant overreaction with your boy Awthentik. It's going to be lit.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one, man. But y'all know what it is, man. Keep raising that bar, man. Keep living those dreams. Get them fantasy dubs this week, man. I know I need it. I'm sitting at 2-3, man. We'll catch y'all on Monday for the overreaction. And don't forget the recap on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, man. Y'all be good. Go Giants. Let's get this W, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
Spike don't care.